All right, hello and welcome to Grim Survival. And as you can tell, I am not him. I am actually Roderick Chappelle with Plant-Based Homestead Prepper, where we make prepping fun. So come on over and check our channel out as well. Don't leave Grim Survival. Keep watching his stuff, but add us to your playlist also. Take care.
Thank you, Roderick, for that intro. Welcome to Grim Survival's Trucker Tuesday. That's right, I'm doing a Trucker Tuesday. I haven't done it in a couple weeks just because time has not allowed me to do it. And on this Trucker Tuesday, I'm going to tell you how I got my CDL and how you can go about getting a CDL for free if you really want to. Not that I would recommend you doing so, but hey, some people might find it beneficial. Before we do this, I'm going to tell you about another YouTube channel that I watch occasionally. Yeah, I watch it here and there. The guy on there, he happens to build things. He builds cars, he builds vehicles, he builds random things. He's very good at building pretty much anything. Fabrication, I think, is his specialty. Currently, he is building a .22 single-shot pistol, and I have been invited to go to his house and test fire this thing when he's done with it. I think he wants to blow my fingers off instead of his, but hey, we're going to record this and go do it. So I'm going to post a link to his channel. His name is Matt, by the way, and we are related. So yeah, I'm posting a link to his channel. It'll be in the description down below the support me button. I've actually added a place in the description for affiliate channels, so you will find him there. His name is Matt, and yeah, his channel, just check it out. These building of a .22 pistol has been quite an interesting journey I've been watching, so definitely check that out. And you know, I've got a couple other channels there, including Plant-Based Homestead Prepper. You will find his link in the description. And Christina, I've been following her channel. You will find her link in the description also, although I didn't ask her if I could put it there. Oops. But anyway, back to Trucker Tuesday. We're going to start with a quick story of how I got my CDL. And sorry about the shakiness of the camera. It's mounted to my steering wheel and, yeah, forklift and trailer. Oh, today's date is, I actually do remember today's date because it's my brother's birthday. So today is November 5th, 2019. November 5th, oddly enough. Yeah, my brother's birthday. It's the only reason I remember it, but anyway, that's not the point of the video. Hey, I got my new camera, and I got it in this case, and I've got this metal plate here, and I've been sticking it to my dashboard and recording video of farmland and other things all day. I'm not recording myself with it right now just because I haven't tested that yet. Well, I'll test that this weekend. But anyway, how I got my CDL. I went to a trucking company called CRS Team, and that stands for Cedar Rapids something specialized transport, or it used to be Cedar Rapids Steel Transport, located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I went there, I honestly don't remember what year it was now. I remember while I was there, it was during harvest time, and I went to the Sweet Corn Festival in Cedar Rapids, which was quite interesting. A lot of corn, obviously. Iowa is full of corn. Did you know Iowa was full of corn? Anyway, so I went to this school. They have their own school, this trucking company, to get your CDL. I honestly say it wasn't a very pleasant experience. I spent about a month there. They put you up in there. They have like a dorm. There's two other people that you don't know sleeping next to you in these little cots, and they feed you pizza every day. It's not a pleasant experience, but it got me my CDL. The problem I had with the company is they force you to team drive, and by team drive I mean they put one of those random people that you don't know in your truck, and they live with you in a truck. Yeah, and when I say live with you, we'll get back to that. So anyway, I went to this school for, like I said, it was about a month. It's a 3-week class, but it took about a month just because it did. And I didn't have any trouble passing my tests. The first thing I had to do was get my permit, and you have to pass 3 different tests, which was general knowledge, air brakes, and combination vehicles, if I remember those correctly, are the 3 tests I had to take to get my permit. And yeah, I got my permit. It was about a month later, a little less than a month. I had a Class A CDL. There are a few different types of CDLs. You got your Class A, you got your Class B, and you can even get a chauffeur's license. Class B CDLs allow you to drive school buses and dump trucks and smaller vehicles like that. Class A CDLs allow you to drive everything I just mentioned plus this. And this is a full-size semi-truck. Oh, this is actually called a day cab because, as you can see, there's nothing behind me but glass and a trailer. There's not an example next to me. I'd show you an over-the-road truck. Over-the-road trucks behind me would be a bed, storage areas, and, you know, places to sleep. A lot of the trucks have double bunks, so you'll have 2 beds. So when you have some random person, yeah. I did not like the random people. I went through several of them. One of them was smoking pot in the back and getting drunk while he was supposed to be sleeping and almost got me killed. The second guy decided he was going to go over an icy bridge in the middle of the night while I was sleeping at 10 miles an hour, got rear-ended by another truck. Yeah, almost got me killed. And that was the last time that was it. I took control of the truck at that point and drove it back to their yard, parked that thing, told them I quit, walked away, and went and worked somewhere else, and never team drove again and never will. Yeah, no thank you. That was a bad experience. So there are ways you can get your CDL for free. As I was saying, you can go to a company like CRS. I wouldn't recommend it unless you bring somebody with you that you know and trust. After the 3-week class, you know, 3 weeks, that's what they say, and you pass and you have a CDL, they're going to stick you with a trainer, and that's about a 30-day trip with a trainer. I think it was almost 3 months before I got home. I didn't see my family for about 3 months when I went to the school, so keep that in mind. As an over-the-road truck driver, you will be gone pretty much forever. Yeah, you'll just be gone forever. You can work more than what I'm going to tell you I did, but I wouldn't recommend that either. I literally got home for 34 hours once a month as an over-the-road truck driver. I did that for 2 years. My kids grew up without me over the course of 2 years. It was not a pleasant experience, and I would not recommend anyone with a family doing it. I wouldn't. Unless you are really poor and you have no other choice, I would not recommend that at all. Benefit of it is, if you get your CDL by any other means, and I'm not going to tell you that you should do this, but if you get your CDL from one of these places and then you quit, they're going to bill you, of course, and you're going to have to set up some kind of payment plan. But after 6 months experience, you can go work for companies like JB Hunt Intermodal, Schneider, Swift, things like that. Only usually require you to have 6 months experience driving, and these are local. Intermodal jobs can be local, can be. Not, it depends on your area. Not all areas have local driving options. I was living in Texas at the time in a place that did not have local driving options, so that's why I moved back to Indiana, where I'm originally from, and I got a local job. And I was driving JB Hunt Intermodal, where I was taking trailers from train yards to Chicago and taking trailers out of Chicago from the train yards and bringing them back to Indianapolis. And I did that 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And it's similar to what I do now, except for I don't go anywhere near the train yards. I don't recommend train yards just because the one I kept going to, if you want to look it up, it's I forget which train yard it is, but it's in Chicago. It's off Kedzie Avenue. I don't know how to spell it, but I'm sure you can find it. Very large train yard. If you type in JB Hunt Terminal, it's right there at that Chicago train yard. So they're there. You'll be able to find it on Google. Trailers there are very tight together. You have about that much space in between the trailers on either side of it, and you have to figure out how to back at that kind of an angle. And the first time I ever did that, like I said, I probably had I've been driving for a while, so I had a good amount of experience backing, but I never had to back it in such a tight space and such a small, weird angle. There's a trick to it when you back at an angle like that instead of just doing a 90-degree. Anyway, backing trailers, there's a whole other set of videos for that. Next week's Trucker Tuesday, if I can get to it, I won't promise. I'm going to attempt to mount a camera to that mirror and a camera to that mirror, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm backing this thing and exactly what I can't see and what I can see. And that'll be interesting if I can pull it off. But don't hold me to it because I don't know if I'll have time. Sorry about the shaking. Forklift's in there again. Anyway, back to the point was, you're never going to be home if you're an over-the-road driver. And I was telling you about the train yard. So just the weird angle. The first time I ever did it took me about, well, I'd say 30 minutes and several dents into the trailers next to me. Later, I actually got it in there. I wonder if this guy's going to keep bouncing me around because I usually don't shake this much. So somebody's doing something they shouldn't be in that trailer. I had one last week come through the side wall with his forklift. Literally drove the forklift right through the side of the trailer. And yeah, I'm not close enough for the forklift to hit me if it comes through the front, fortunately, unless he continued. Anyway, Point being, I was backing in this train yard the first time I ever did it, and I literally was bouncing off of the container that way and the container that way. I was getting so mad at myself and these containers by the time the last 2 or 3 times I was purposely hitting that trailer over there trying to move it out of my way. I was slamming into that thing. I was cussing at it too, trying to get it to move. It wouldn't move. It was really heavy. Too bad. But I did get the trailer in there, and I've never had a problem backing a trailer ever since. I didn't have a problem backing a trailer before that either. At truck driving school, quick story, I remember there was this young kid. This would have been like the 3rd or 4th time he's tried to pass the backing test. You have to pass backing tests when you are in truck driving school, or when you're getting a CDL in general. You literally have to back a trailer at a 90-degree angle, which is what they call an alley dock. Basically, if I'm backing here, my truck would be facing straight that way, and then I would have to put my trailer straight that way, and you got cones and a little obstacle course set up to try to do it. And that's what most people said was the hardest backing, which wasn't for me. I could see a lot better out that window. But point being is you have to pass the backing test. And there was this young kid there. He's a lot younger than me. He was probably 21, 22. Just a note, you do need to be 21 to get a CDL. You also need to have a clean driving record. You need to have had your actual normal driver's license for, I think it was 2 years before you can actually apply for a CDL. So keep that in mind. Also, a criminal background check will be run. There are stipulations, DUIs and things like that will prevent you, but it's not impossible to get a CDL with a DUI on your record, felony DUI. I know people who have done it, but it's been 10 to 12 years later before they could get that CDL. So it is still possible, so don't let that deter you if you've done that. Just don't do that in a truck, because they will not just take you to jail, they will leave you there for a very long time. Anyway, as I was saying, the kid, he told me, it was the day of the test, and I went out there, and I had known myself well enough to know that every time I went out there, I backed it perfectly the first time, and I screwed it up every other time. So I went out there, and I refused to practice. Everybody who wasn't taking the test immediately was made to practice, and I refused. I said, no, I'm not going to practice. I wouldn't even watch the guy backing, because every time I did that, I'd overthink it, and I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm overthinking it. And the kid, he came up to me, and he's in my ear, and he's like, you need to go do this, and you need to go that. And I said, how many times you pass this test? And yeah, he didn't like me after that. But after I did it the first try and did not fail and passed, I walked past him and said, passed, and walked. That was probably rude of me, but he was irritating me, and he kind of deserved it. So that being said, yeah, I've never really had trouble backing trailers. I'm actually quite good at it. So I've been told. I mean, I can literally take this trailer out of this door and park it in that spot that's directly across from me that I'm not going to show you because my camera and microphone would fall. And yeah, anyway, I could turn this thing around and park it straight that way without one single move, without hitting anything in a very tight spot. I've done it. That is not an exaggeration, and that is not a brag. I have done it literally more than once. It's entertaining to me when I do it too. But anyway, that's not the point. Getting a CDL, you can get it for free through these trucking companies. CR England is one. They will not make you team drive after you get done with your trainers. Swift Night Transportation, they're the same company. They also have a school. There are several others. JB Hunt, I think, will help certain people get CDLs. I don't know if it's free. The cost might be different. But for free, I know companies, CR England, and I'm not going to post any of these links because I don't know where they are. CR England's one of them. Swift Night Transportation are the other. CRS Team is the one I did, but like I said, that requires team driving. So, a myth about truck driving is you'll see the country, you'll see the world, you'll see all kinds of things. You'll see things from a distance. And I said this in the live interview I had over at Plant-Based Homestead Prepper, and I will try to post that link to that video in this description. But yeah, you won't see things like you believe you'll see. I mean, yeah, you'll go over some mountains and you'll see them off in the distance. And just to give you an example, I have driven within 5 miles of the Grand Canyon more than 6 times, and I have never seen the Grand Canyon. Never seen it. I have been really close to a lot of landmarks that I cannot see. This truck can't just go anywhere. It can't just park in any parking lot. You can't just stop it wherever you want. It will not fit. It just won't fit. You can't even go down most roads in cities. If you've ever seen those weight limit signs, that's for people that are driving these. If you've ever seen the signs that say low bridge, that's for these too. If you, I mean, just city streets, I'm not going to be able to make a left turn or a right turn in most city streets because some car is going to get run over if I try. I'll run over street signs and sidewalks and people, and you just can't do it. So, no, you're not stopping the truck everywhere. You're not a tourist when you're in a truck. And even if you have time to stop, I mean, you're losing money. Most truck drivers get paid by the mile. That means if you're not moving, you're not getting paid. And that being said, everywhere you go, you're made to wait. Everywhere. I'm sitting here. I sit here almost every day. I don't always come to the same spot, but a lot of times I do, and I sit here for an hour and a half to 2 hours every day. Every day. I don't get paid by the mile because I'm smarter than that. So that'll probably tick off a couple of truck drivers. I'm actually a salary employee, which makes me stupider than a person who gets paid by the mile because, yeah, they can make me work a lot of overtime and not pay me for it. They do it quite often. But also, if things like holidays and stuff like that, I still get my same pay. So, you know, pros and cons. But you're not going to be home as an over-the-road truck driver. If you get your CDL through one of these places, they're going to make you sign a contract for at least 1 year to drive for them. If you break that contract, they're going to bill you. $4,000 is how much it would cost for me to have broken my contract. $4,000. You can get your CDL if you know somebody with a truck a lot cheaper. Do it on your own. Pass all the tests on your own. Have someone with a truck teach you how to drive. Let them, if they'll let you use the truck for the driving test and the backing test, yeah, then it's cheaper. But yeah, you do have to pass a driving test. You have to pass a backing test. Depending on your truck will depend on your CDL. A lot of truck drivers nowadays have restrictions on their CDL that they cannot drive manual transmissions. That's because they took the test in an automatic transmission truck. Most new trucks are automatic transmissions. They come standard now on all new trucks, and I do mean all. To get a manual transmission in a truck is now a special order, and it costs you more. Keep that in mind. If you're getting it, I highly recommend you get a manual transmission. That's what I'm sitting in right now. This is a 10-speed manual. It has 10 gears that I shift through. I usually start in third because I don't really need first or second. That's a different story. But anyway, that's basically how I got my CDL and how you can get yours. Class B CDLs are easier to get, and like I said, you can drive dump trucks. You can drive rollback wreckers. Usually don't require a special license depending on your state, so I have driven those. Dump trucks, school buses, things like that. School buses, from what I hear, don't pay very well. Class B, you can't drive a Greyhound bus with a Class B. I don't think. No, don't quote me. I'm pretty sure you can't. You need a Class A with a passenger endorsement. Now, you can get lots of different endorsements on your Class A. You can get hazmat, you can get tanker, you can get doubles and triples, which means you have 2 trailers back there. Hazmat, obviously hazardous material, flammable gas, and tanker trailers, you know, tanker endorsement. You need an endorsement for all this, and all those things cost more money. So CDLs are not cheap. Getting one for free is actually a good way to go. If you don't have a family and don't need to be anywhere, go for it. One thing I will tell you is you'll never be homeless. If you have a clean driving record and a good, work history, you will never be homeless. Because even if the worst happens, you can go get a job as an over-the-road truck driver and live in that truck. It has a bed. A lot of them have refrigerators and inverters where you can plug in a little toaster oven, a little hot plate, whatever. You can cook in those things. I've done it. I might show you how I cook in this one without those things another time, but this video is running kind of long. I could ramble on about trucks for all day, all night. So anyway, check out the affiliates links in the description. You'll find Plant-Based Homestead Prepper. You'll find Christina. You'll find Matt Bryan is his name. That's his YouTube channel. Go check him out. He's making that 22 pistol that apparently I'm going to test fire. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to use a string and I'm going to hide behind his garage door. Yeah, that's how that's working. So you guys have a good one. Someone's about to knock on my door and irritate me. So yeah, here it goes.